Speaking of TNA, man, big news. We have news from Matt Hardy, who said he wants to appear in WWE as TNA World Tag Champion. Now, Jeff Hardy's been saying stuff like he wants Punk to be his final match. The Hardy Boys have been like, yeah, we could be in WWE. Our picture perfect ending would be us ending up in WWE. Like, they're just reaching, throwing it out there. Yeah, we really want to just come back to WWE. You know, they keep saying it publicly. We know that they're thinking it privately, and I hope it does happen. And you can just see, even by hook or by crook, they just want to be invited back there, even just as TNA Tag Champs. And it's sad that Jeff went out the way he did, man, because I kind of do lean to the conspiracy of, like, you know, Jeff sort of did that knowing he could get the out of WWE and go work in AEW. But then how did that work out? Then everybody sees the big picture, and it's important, I think, for the Hardys to be in WWE or affiliated with them. I think that's really important for pro wrestling. I don't know if you guys agree with me or not. One of the GOATest tag teams ever. But they did say we filmed some content for WWE that'll probably be dropping pretty soon. Yes. I saw the Dudleys did it the day before us, and I know there's just dropped recently. I think you can see us pop up even as TNA champs on some WWE show. I don't know if Matt Hardy was the one saying that or if it was Jeff, but either way, I'm here for it, Conrad. I'm here for it, Eric. Like, I'm so down if it happens. They could be a part of, who knows. But here's the thing, too. We're going to talk about the partnership. It's very NXT focused. So, like, maybe you see a main roster something or other with these guys, but they would have to probably agree to get jobbed out. I just don't think they'd present the Hardys that way. I think if WWE's going to bring them in, it's going to be, you guys either have one last nostalgia run, very brief run, where, like, you just wrap it up at a Mania, you know, a very short feud, you get beat at a Mania, and then we induct you in the Hall of Fame or whatever. That's the only way to do it. Otherwise, I don't know. But I know the Dudleys, like Bubba, can wrestle, and Devon, I think, is cleared, but he wasn't when he did that ECW running thing. I can't remember. Someone told me about it directly, and I totally forget what they said, but I will double check that and hopefully remember. And then Edge and Christian can still go. So I'm not saying do a TLC, whatever, but to have that moment of the induction in WWE, you know, for the Hardys, with all three of those teams, I think that'd be just amazing to have. So yeah, shout out the Hardys. Hope to see them back. Breaking, WWE and TNA Wrestling today announced a multi-year partnership aimed at creating unprecedented crossover opportunities within WWE and TNA programming for NXT superstars and TNA wrestling stars. So the NXT superstars, dude, is the key thing here. It's NXT that's crossing over. But a lot of people were, they get Wendy Chu. Okay, well, they're getting Cora Jade next. We already know that. It's going to be Masha versus Cora. The main thing here that we got to remember is, yes, we'll see a Joe Hendry probably pop up at the Rumble. Yes, Jordynne GRace will probably just go to the main roster and bypass NXT, right? She spent enough time in TNA. She doesn't need NXT. She proved that. Just don't expect to see, like, maybe AJ Styles gets inducted into their Hall of Fame like everybody wanted last time. Maybe Drew McIntyre as well or something like that. But don't expect to see anyone crazy show up there, right? Jordynne GRace did tweet something out that I thought was really cool. And also, can we rewind to when Husey came on like 3 appearances ago? What the f did Husey say? He's like, dude, I heard that there could be like a TNA DLC in the 2K25, like they're talking about. That could be one of the things, right? And he was talking about there could be like a Wolfpack DLC as well. Okay, now let's fast forward. If you play 2K24, you know that they added Wolfpack persona whatevers to my faction you can unlock and play in the game. You know what I mean? And he's like, you know, Conan, right? Right, guys? Just throwing it. He's telling me this. Conan! He's like, that's the only guy never in the games who's in the Wolfpack as well. Think about it. And then he was like in a TNA pack or whatever. Now, some people were marking out, could we get that? But Husey's like, you know, no, I kind of heard that allegedly, you know? So this lends to it a little bit. And what Jordynne GRace says might lend to it a little bit as well. We'll get to that. But we could see a lot of cool happen with this. And I don't limit this to just NXT like some people are. But as far as talent going to TNA, it'll be NXT people. We're not going to see who the name dominant. Maybe Dirty Dom. Hey, he went all around. It was, doing NXT shows and everything. Maybe he shows up in TNA and does so. That'd be hilarious. But even that, I just think that's too much. I don't think they would go that far. It would have to just be, Fraxium goes over and wrestles the Hardys or something like that. Maybe the Good Brothers go over or something like that, but nothing too crazy, They drop a new Genesis trailer and it's got NXT in the logo. So let's look at this. Hopefully we don't get Don Stevens. But it's NXT TNA. So everybody tune into Genesis tomorrow night. I mean, some crazy's going to pop off for sure. So Jade Chung, who is married to Josh Alexander and will be going over to Maple Leaf Pro. Now, I know a lot of us are saying, oh, Josh Alexander to WWE. Let's see a North reunion, that sort of thing, right? That's not happening, folks. I think he's going to work with Scott D'Amore over at Maple Leaf Pro. And as I told you, someone, I believe, was it Husey? It might have been Husey again, who came on this show and told us that Maple Leaf Pro has the same working relationship. Maybe it was the Mole or something said this, but they have the same working relationship basically that TNA and WWE does. So it's funny that all these people are melting down. All these dildo sickos in the IWC are melting down over this TNA WWE. They're trying to monopolize. But meanwhile, Maple Leaf Pro, which has all the resources. It's Scott D'Amore. He helped get TNA back on their feet, and he has all the money of Anthem. I don't know if he has the same amount of money of Anthem that Anthem does. He doesn't have Tony Khan money, but Scott D'Amore has money, big view money, which is why he left TNA in the first place, And then he started this Fed, and they have a relationship with AEW, just so you all know. That's their feeder system, their ID system agreement thing that they have. So Jade Chung's going to go over there for sure because it's based out of Canada, and Alexander's over there working with D'Amore, and that's good for her. I didn't really like her as the part of me as the announcer making their way to the ring. I didn't really like her in that position, anyways. I think she's better as a backstage lady. However, I'm not on her, and she's leaving TNA. She just announced it, and good for her, I guess. You know what I mean? And Corey Graves doing the work shoot, him and Tom Hannafan linking up again. What was he called in WWE? Todd Phillips or Tom Robin Phillips? No, I forget. But Jordynne GRace had this to say: Ultimate X match will happen at a WrestleMania. Bookmark this, and I bookmarked it, girl. Would you guys be up if there was an Ultimate X match at Mania? Would you like that, or is that too much? I hope that goddamn happens. I'm leaving that bookmarked because we're going to manifest that. So Nic Nemeth, who before said that he had nothing to prove in NXT, and he said that before, and he also said that he doesn't think he'd do an NXT crossover thing, like that WWE door sort of closed. And as I mentioned earlier, when they had sort of because it wasn't on paper, the TNA, NXT, WWE crossovers weren't on paper until now. So during that part of it, I was like, yo, the people who just left WWE, you probably won't see them too much crossing over. However, with this being pen to paper, no, we're doing NXT, TNA crossover type. I mean, Nemeth, I think the door's wide open now. I think we could see the Hardys. We could see Nemeth as long as they're willing to go to NXT, or as long as they're willing to jumble their titles around a little bit. If the Hardys got to drop them to some NXT guys who then drop it to some TNA guys or something like that, if they're willing to play ball like that, I'm sure WWE would let Nemeth come back and do something. But again, Nemeth's return to WWE shouldn't be some NXT throwaway thing. It should be a big deal if a Cardona comes back or a Cody comes back. Not to that level, but hey, look, Ziggler's back. This guy that you all love and who really wasn't booked that great and was a workhorse is back. Type thing. That's how it should be treated. So I don't really want to see Nemeth crossover. However, if Hendry beats him tomorrow night, which I hope he does, and then I think Nemeth goes nuclear heel turn, him and his brother, right? And then you don't need the belt for Nemeth. He's just a hot heel with whatever he's doing. But if Hendry wins the belt, then we could see him come into the Rumble with that TNA world title, and that's such insane exposure for TNA, and I think that's where they're going with that whole thing, because they've done it with the knockouts already a bunch of times. I could see Masha not even being in the Rumble, and they've already done that twice. So let's see the men's world title for TNA show up in the Rumble. I don't think it'll be Nemeth. It'll be Hendry. And I don't think we get Nemeth and Hendry in the Rumble. There's so many guys on the WWE roster that can fill up those slots. We won't see a bunch of surprises in the guys' Rumble. That's my prediction. I think we're going to see more surprises in the ladies' Rumble, as far as like the same as last year. I was like call-ups. This lady from another promotion, Jade Cargill's here all of a sudden. It'll be like that for the women more so than the men. Again, because the men just have so many. Like, we're already looking at it going, John Cena, Punk. Like, we're already invested in all the guys. We don't need outsiders coming in other than, like, Hendry, because we just want that pop. Other than, okay, Malachi's back. Yeah, right? The same way Andrade came back. All right, sweet. Welcome home. That sort of thing. Anyways, let's listen to Nic Nemeth. Speaking of welcome home.
Of course, the biggest thing is the partnership with WWE. I'm curious. I don't know if it's awkward, but what was your reaction to it? Because I think overall it's great for you. What's your feeling with it?
Oh, it's like they're obsessed with me. God, it's another text from WWE at 2 a.m. You up? I'm always up. I don't sleep. No, it's funny. I think it's cool. Like, I get to keep saying, like, guys, I tried to do a clean break here, and now you in the middle of the night you're driving past my house. Like, leave me alone. No, it's awesome. What a fantastic partnership for both sides here, because TNA up and coming, WWE this global dominant billionaire company, and it's like, here we go. We're going to help each other out. We're going to make it better for fans, and then behind the scenes, we're going to make it better for both companies. What a huge win. I think it's fantastic. I have no unfinished business in.
See, Meltzer would hear that and go, well, TNA's not up and coming. They've been around 20 years. It's ridiculous. And it's like, yeah, he's getting it over, and he's showing you as their world champion. He's a reflection of their mentality there. That's the problem with AEW. They're acting like they're the top. We're the best. Bro, there's better wrestling in TNA than even in AEW. And they have crazy-ass matches. They do it all the time. And they have more story. And like even MLW, they're really focusing on what? Their storytelling. That's like the big thing, is they're trying to push their stories so that you care about the matches when they go, here's our big event or whatever. So anyways, all I'll say is this. Meltzer, if he were here now, he'd be like, oh, well, that's ridiculous. That's ludicrous. TNA up and coming. Since the rebrand, Dave, they're looking at it like, hey, we're from the ground up, this TNA thing. We got to now, like, we're in the talks again. People take us serious again. We can't fumble it this time. Whereas AEW's still like, nope, we're going to do it our way and it'll just work one day for sure.
NXT, if that's what you're asking. Like, hey, would it be?
Shout out Adrian Radio 93, by the way. Go and follow him. Unlikely. I don't know if that's the name of his thing, but yeah, Adrian CLE 93. He has good interviews, so shout him out.
Cool if you went to NXT. Like, for what? I was already the champ. What, can I win 2 championships there? Can I hold 2 of them up? But the cool part is it does open the door for Rumble appearances, for a Raw, for a SmackDown, for an Impact, a live Impact on a Thursday. Maybe someone shows up. Maybe.
Yo, that's when it's going to happen too. When Impact goes live on Thursdays, we are going to see, that's when you could see a bigger name, maybe even a main roster guy who's underutilized or something, show up and like challenge Nic Nemeth for the TNA title in an open challenge or whatever, like an NXT guy who's a bigger name, or maybe a guy even main roster who's like lower mid. On LA Knight, where he was Eli Drake, he shows up maybe because he's just so over. Maybe he's too big of a name now too. Don't think too crazy. Yeah, maybe LA Knight's too crazy, right? But he's got a point there too. On there, because imagine this, they go live and then WWE sends one over there and they do like 600,000 viewers or even like 500,000, and people go, whoa, look out, AEW. That's what's gonna happen in this year. And I don't know, I feel like I was the first show, really, just every episode, every single show I do being like, it's TNA AEW, it's TNA AEW. I'm telling you, next year I get so much online. So much people are like, you really think TNA is going to outdraw AEW, you dumbass? You really think they'll fill a bill? Joke, they don't even get blah, blah, blah. I get that so much, but I don't care. I'm sticking my neck out. I think 2025 TNA show, a pay-per-view, outdraws an AEW pay-per-view. They have 7,500. The AEW one will have like 6,800, and then Meltzer will have a meltdown, and I can't wait.
Tuesday night on NXT. Maybe this Sunday at Genesis, someone walks out and you go, "Are you kidding me?" So, like, if you're going to announce that partnership, let's get rocking and rolling, and it's going to be good for everybody, most importantly, the fans.
There was a rumor last week that you signed a TNA contract extension. Are you able to talk about that and confirm that? Or
I'm able to do whatever the hell I want. I mean, I didn't tell anybody that, but
yeah, we covered it. He did. He signed an extension. A lot of people did. So, ladies and gentlemen, round of applause for that was light news. Round of applause